Welcome to Lancashire Business Stories, the podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm your host, Paul Lim, and every week we're joined by local business owners to talk about their journey into business and how they've grown and scaled their own organisations. We'll talk about some of the challenges they've faced along the way and the successes that they've had in growing their businesses, so you, our listeners and viewers, can learn and apply those same principles into your own business, so you can grow and succeed. If this is the first time that you've watched or listened to the podcast, please hit the subscribe or follow button. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get to it. Lisa Kennery, welcome to Lancashire Business Stories.
Thank you.
As per usual on the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are now. We'll talk about Pierce and what the business does, the focus for the future, and then we'll finish off with a couple of quick fire questions. So tell us a little bit about what your role is, first of all, at Pierce.
Yep, so I'm partner of the Pierce Group. We've got 3 offices based in Blackburn, Bury and Bolton. My role is really fluctuating between the 3 of those, very much on the integration piece when we have acquisitions, but also daily HR, people piece and operations.
Okay, so that's going to keep you busy, I should imagine. How did you... We'll talk a little bit more about Pierce in a little while, because we first met when you'd just gone through one of those acquisitions, obviously.
Yes.
Tell us how you ended up where you are now. What's your background? How did you end up at Pierce?
So my background is HR and payroll. Started in a payroll career in Manchester, at one of the top 4 accountancy practices. Got to a stage where there was really no progression, so decided to move on. Got a mixture of industry and practice between those times. Bit of a joke whether it was the dark side or the light side as well. Then just really progressed through until I had my first daughter 14 years ago now. Was still travelling to Manchester with her as a baby, dropping off at parents, a lot of travelling involved. So got in touch with an agent and said, this is what I want, this is where I want it, let's wait and see. 3 weeks later, I got a phone call for Pierce and a role had come up. And within the payroll team as payroll manager, fit the bill, fit the location, and then from the minute I walked in, I think I instantly felt at home.
Yeah. So how long ago is that?
13 years ago.
Wow. Brilliant. So payroll manager when you first arrived there. And were you living in Blackburn at the time as well? So it just meant an easier commute as well
so
for
I was
you,
in Darwin,
so
it was literally 10-15 minutes to the office, so it just fit perfectly. Went in as a payroll manager, and then progressed from there. I think I got a little involvement in the marketing piece because at the time auto enrolment was coming in, so it was a big piece in radios, doing a few ads and the marketing, and it grew in that respect that then looked over the overseeing of the business from a marketing perspective and really just developed from there.
Yeah. And what did Pierce look like when you first joined them in terms of
So we had around 55 staff. It was very different to how it looks today.
Yeah. Great
reputation, always has. It was been around now for 98 years, but quite traditional in its set and form.
And was it a limited company then, or was it a traditional partnership?
Yeah, the historic of Pierce is that it started with one person, then formed as a partnership, then became a limited company, moved from Accrington where it started to Blackburn, and then grew from there.
See, I'm an Ackie lad. I had no idea Pierce was first started in Accrington.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So how many people are there now?
So there's 160 currently.
Crikey. So it has grown substantially.
Yeah.
And you started as payroll manager, moved into marketing. So did you then take on any professional learning around marketing, or was it just learning on the job?
So I'd done my foundations with the payroll background. So I was CIPP, which involved a lot of leadership and management as well within that. So I knew that was the area that I wanted to push and develop in. So from the people side and the marketing side, just then led into more of an operational and strategic role.
Yeah. And how long ago did you end up becoming a director and then a partner of Pierce?
Almost 7 years ago.
Is it that long?
Yeah.
Okay. Time flies,
it's gone so quick. Yeah.
Time flies. And how your role now is, so just tell me again what you do now.
So I oversee the people.
Yeah.
So a lot of the just really interactions with the staff, having those conversations, supporting management with probation reviews, with those PDPs, trying to get the best out of our team.
Yeah.
So a lot of the positive side. And then the operational side, very much the day-to-day running of the Blackburn office, but then supporting when we've got new acquisitions that we go in and look at that operational plan and a rollout plan really to phase it and to turn it into the pace way.
So do you have a team underneath you now working with you?
Yes, that's grown in itself as well. So our HR team was me only.
Yeah.
We've now got a team of 3.
Right.
Which is
with
is
160 people,
yes.
you need some help, don't you?
Yes.
And what's it like going from just you doing something to having a team of people?
I'm quite a people person, and I really thrive off having a team around that can support each other.
Yeah.
So me, it definitely helped and just aided what we can do really.
Yeah. Some of the challenges that people just about letting go of things sometimes, you know, when it's your baby, you want to make sure that everything's done right, and you've got the opportunity to micromanage if you're not careful with people. How do you deal with handing off those sort of things to other people that you've been used to doing yourself and you know that they're done right when you do them?
I think definitely a challenge, but if you don't step into that zone, you're in a vicious circle and you'll never get off that circle. You won't be able to push forward. So it's letting people make those mistakes. People learn from mistakes as well. So just giving people that opportunity really to do that and guide and support as much as you can. For me, it's about putting those procedures in place and the measures and controls that support that. So you're allowing someone the rein to be able to be flexible, to be forward thinking, to adapt to their style and what they want and their needs, but also having that control. So at the end of the day, you can double check, let's have a look, let's make sure it's working as it should.
Yeah.
And we're always learning. So there's going to be mistakes along the way. So it's reflecting on those mistakes as well and how we put that right.
I think we often talk to our clients about leadership and management. We always say that management, you don't manage people, you manage things and frameworks and processes and procedures. The processes and procedures and job roles and all the sort of frameworks that people have are there to ensure that they can do a really productive and efficient job. The leadership element comes from being able to make quick decisions, being able to lead your people well, being able to delegate well, and all that kind of thing. So there's 2 very distinct categories, but they're all mixed together as a manager. Somebody once said to me, look, I asked a business leader if he had some pieces of advice for other people. He said, always hire people who are better than you at doing things. And it's one of the things that holds business owners back because they don't want anybody better. Either they don't believe there's anybody who can do it better than they can, or it's why should they pay somebody else to do it when they can do it themselves and they run out of time, or they just don't want to employ somebody better than them because then what do they do? And I've seen a couple of situations where I've had business owners actually say, not business owners, but people in managing teams saying, what am I going to do? Because they can do my job now. I'm going to end up making myself redundant. But that's a great position to be in because if you're managing a team strategically and they're doing a fantastic job, then you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think it's taking pride in that succession piece and seeing people do well, either in the role that you was performing yourself, which allows you to step up onto that next level. I once got a really good piece of advice is always make yourself redundant. I'd love to do that in pace. I've not quite got there yet. There's always a new challenge. There's always something new to look at, particularly with the way that we're growing as a firm. But I've really stuck by that because I think that's right. Get all your ducks in a row, get the right people in place, and it should just run smoothly and effectively. I think when people look at the exit plan from a business, I think that should be focused on. You shouldn't have your leaders that are in the business doing the job. They should be able to run effectively without it. Yeah. So that's one point that probably always sticks with me. But I take pride in seeing people doing a good job and really thrive off how successful they are as well. I think that's important.
Yeah. And you've talked obviously about Pierce expanding and the acquisitions that they've made. Without talking about individuals or individual offices, what are some of the challenges that you come across when you buy another business in terms of integrating it into your business?
So when we look for an acquisition, it's got to be the right fit initially in terms of that cultural piece. Otherwise, it just doesn't work and it doesn't gel. From the outset, you've got a huge difference in opinions and just a feel for a business as well. So that's probably one critical part from the people side that we look at. I would say it's the technology. So new acquisitions at the moment and very different. One had technology in place but wasn't probably as forward thinking as it needed to be and as aligned. And then one that was very paper based, heavy as well, that's not got any systems at all. So it's that whole technology piece for us. And I think within our industry, I think with profession and any business at the moment, technology is moving that fast that it's hard to keep up to speed with that as well.
Yeah.
So it's having a good team in place that can really leapfrog forward into that environment.
Yeah. Do you have an IT team? Do you have any kind of AI leads or anything like that in your business?
Yeah, we've got a tech steering group that we have now that meet on a monthly basis that looks at the projects that we've got in the pipeline and really so that we can prioritise that. Everyone would love to do everything in a day and get everything in place, but it has to be a sensible approach as well.
Yeah.
And for us, it's the balance of hitting it at the right time and just getting staff really to understand that we're upskilling them and upskilling in different areas. So really from us, it's about the compliance and how we can use technology for our best advantage.
Yeah.
So then we can focus more on the advisory piece and offering that better added value for the clients.
And are you looking at AI actively for the business as well?
Yeah,
we've tell a little bit about what kind of areas you're looking at it for?
Yeah, so we've got a robot that does robot process automation. So we started that journey by looking at our admin team and admin function and looking at key areas where it was quite time consuming to be able to get a pack together that looks in a professional way to the client.
Yeah.
So we've really looked at that area and making that efficient. That's been successful.
Yeah.
We've probably reduced something that took 25 minutes down to 7 minutes.
Wow.
Using the bot, which is definitely a good
efficiency. And if you're doing that day in, day out, every day, that can be a massive time saving over a year, can't it?
Yes. So now we're looking at utilising it in different areas of the business that, again, just supports our staff and we're able then to redeploy them in other areas and upskill them.
Yeah. I listen to all sorts of different things around AI and what people are doing with it. And you listen to some of the experts talking about professional services businesses and they think they're going to be transformed over the next 3 to 5 years with the use of AI. Just something as simple as being able to give it a set of accounts to look at and tell it to come back with some recommendations or a summary report that traditionally you would have done almost manually years ago. And I know there's technology already in place to help with that, but I think it's going to leapfrog forward so much over the next few years. And it's going to enable you to add value to your clients in terms of being able to speed things up and to bring extra resource to them to help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, it's definitely better use of time.
Yeah.
And you're right to look at those areas that you sometimes don't get the opportunity to do because you're doing the detail part of it.
Yeah.
So look at things from a different angle.
Yeah. And you mentioned culture, obviously.
Yes.
A law firm who've been on a similar track where they've bought different businesses and 2 or 3 businesses. One of them was a really small family firm that had about 10 people in it and a very different sort of workplace culture. It was very laid back. If somebody didn't need to come in at 9 o'clock, they'd come in at 10 o'clock. If they wanted to take a day off, they'd just give them a quick call and say, I'm just going to take a day off today. And they go, yeah, fine, no problem. Or the partner had just not come in some days. Do you get those sort of issues as well when you're looking at a practice where somebody's maybe really relaxed and they're coming into a more corporate feel at Pierce? Or do you have, I don't know, you might have the same view at Pierce, you can just come in when you want, I don't know.
So I'd say we're a middle ground.
Yeah.
We learnt lessons from, dare I say, back in the COVID days with that. It's about the trust. If the work's getting done, then we're happy with that. So we have core hours between the hours of 9:30 and 4 o'clock. And that's so that we can service clients effectively. But staff are allowed to flex the time around that. I would say when we go into a new business, people is the first bit that we try to absorb and learn about. So having those one-to-one conversations, what do you like, what do you not like? Now is your time to be honest and have that open conversation so that we can shape it to meet with the needs of individuals but also the business needs. And I'm hoping we 9 times out of 10 we get a good balance and a good working relationship. Yeah.
But obviously with 160 people, if you then go and buy another business and they've got a very different culture, then you've got to somehow mould them into your culture. Otherwise, if you're giving them leeway to do other things, then you've got 160 other people who are going to go, why are they getting away with that when we can't do it? So you've got to be able to do that. Yeah. And it's a real skill.
It is. We've got a really good benefits package in Trully, and that was one of our focuses before we moved into the step of looking at different acquisitions. So the acquisitions we've done so far haven't had as many of those benefits in place. So we've been on the positive side, where we've been able to influence those businesses and really give those nice perks that staff want to have. Yeah. We'll have a catch-up if we go the other way and we have another situation.
Yeah. And obviously your role heading up HR now, do you also head up the sort of the learning and development of your people within the business?
Yes.
Because obviously you've got professional services and there are certain key things in terms of continual professional development that they've got to do. But you must have quite a lot of people now who are outside those core functions. How do you deal with learning and development for those people?
It's really interesting. We're on a journey with this.
Yeah.
Those professional exams, you're right, that is a driver for many of our staff and has been in the past. They have a model, they come in as a trainee, they've got a 3-4 year agreement. That professional side and learning journey is all about the accountancy element of it. A few years ago we introduced the apprenticeship, which what did help with the softer skills for those staff and them to become an all-round accountant. Yeah. That was probably a first move for us. We've now just about to launch a new learning platform which is really pushing on the softer skills, how to become a management. We've had management courses in the past, so anyone that's reaching that level and stepping into the qualified zone but a manager zone, it's all about those skills, upskilling them at that time. So we put people through the ILM course in the past, but now we're just introducing a platform that's got a lot of either gaming learning, video learning, short 15 minutes, hour sessions. Everyone learns differently, so it's just about being able to provide that journey for someone in the next level. Yeah. And I would say that our next step is really looking at difference between management and a leader and identifying that. We introduced a tiering document, so tiering levels for that, and purposely trying to identify that difference between a manager and a leader and the different skills needed.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we find it all the time with our clients. They are brilliant at what they've done for years and years. Whatever business they've gone into for themselves, they used to do for somebody else normally. And whether they're a plumber, an accountant, a solicitor, like it's a funeral director, whatever it is, they are brilliant at that core skill. But it doesn't mean they've got any of the skills of being a business owner or any of the skills of being a leader and a manager. And we've always seen lots of what you call accidental managers. There's some stats that say about 60 to 70% of managers are accidental managers, i.e. they've done really well in whatever they were doing and they get promoted into a management position without any management training or management skill. And they end up wrecking the team that they've come out of because they don't know how to be a manager. And sometimes they don't even want it, but it's the only progression path for them. So having those soft skills, the skills that you need to learn, really important for business owners. And that's why we exist, Action Coach. It's all about helping business owners to build on the skills that they don't have, as well as the skills that they do have to enable them to be effective in their roles.
Yeah, I think that comes with growth of any business. Yeah. So people do grow with them, but you're right, don't necessarily put in, the skills aren't put in there. So that is a big piece for us with the learning and development side. And about personal branding as well. For us as accountants, their profession, because it is changing so quickly, the traditional accountants would be in a room, mountain of paperwork to get through. They wouldn't really see the clients the same. Whereas now it's very much a client-facing role and a people-based role. So I think that the new generation coming through understand that and we're picking very different skill set at recruitment than what we would have done historically. Yeah. Our first stage at the recruitment point is to look at the fit for the business, making sure that's right, the business, the team, and the role that they're performing as well, because it is a very different landscape than what it was. Yeah. The challenge is that when we've got existing staff that perhaps very good at accounting side but not that softer skill, it's making sure that people don't pick up bad habits, and that we try and educate the right way going forward to adapt with just the changing landscape and world that we're in.
Yeah, of course. I know. I think you see it in every sector, but I think sometimes you see it more in professional services, especially with, I don't say because I'm 62 now, so I say older people, but I'm one of the older people now, where maybe they're not as people-centric as maybe younger managers and leaders might be. They're quite grumpy and they just get on with it and they don't like to talk to people and they'll see the clients if they have to, and that's about it. So creating that kind of environment where you're being proactive with your business owners that you're working with and other people rather than reactive is so important for your... And I'd say in our job, probably 50% of our clients, they end up getting a different accountant once we've worked with them for a little while, because as a business coach, I want our clients to have a proactive accountant who's really helping them on the numbers side and the finance side of the business and giving them the best advice constantly, not just waiting for year end and then 6 months after year end presenting them with a set of accounts, which really are neither use nor ornament to them at that stage. They need
past,
current.
not the current and not the future, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's, for us as a business, that's where we focus on the advisory side, and that's what is all about, that advisory and proactive side of things. COVID definitely taught us a few lessons. One, with being more flexible as a business and changing with the world. So we do offer that hybrid, but also with that, we're very proactive with marketing. Legislation was changing weekly, so we'd get 2 newsletters out a week, and that got us into really good habits for the future. So now it's looking at the changing landscapes of businesses daily and what can we do for that. So looking at maybe the energy prices and how that's impacting, and getting a group of professionals together that we can host webinars and things that can really educate on, for business owners, on what we can do and how we can deal with situation and put solutions in place.
And I love I come along to your budget breakfast workshops that you do following the budgets, and they're always so well attended because everybody's everybody needs to know. Everybody's they're in a challenging environment at the moment, so they need as much help as they can possibly get, I think. And not everybody who's a business owner understands what the impacts are going to be on their individual business of changes within budgets and economic direction and stuff. So the more help you can give them, the better. So I'm all for that. And we work with some other, as we've talked about before, we work with some other professional services companies and do lunch and learns and business breakfast sort of events for them around business growth and the difference between growing and scaling your business and some of the blockers and things that you can get out of the way with. So I find that really interesting. So if you had to describe Pierce now, what would you describe Pierce as?
Forward-thinking, proactive advice, advisory firm. We're growing. We're local, so Northwest based. That is our focus. And being part of a community, that's really important to us. So the towns that we're in, giving back to that community. We do a lot of work with the local hospices. That we do Bolton Lads and Girls Club, for example, as well. So just different, how we can get involved and feel like we're part of that community as well.
Yeah. And do you have a particular size of business that you work with?
We do work with all sizes of business. I think there is something suitable for all. So we have a cloud team that looks after the smaller end of clients. It's all SME, owner-managed businesses that we work with. If we were to describe probably our sweet spot would be around a 6 million turnover, just because we can influence. They don't tend to have in-house FDs, so we can influence with the advisory part as well. But every part of the business journey we can support on in-house. So whether it's that compliance side of the accounts, the audit, the payroll, the bookkeeping, or if it is more strategy, so tax advisory, corporate finance for if they're acquiring or if they're on the other end and looking to sell, or they might be wanting to restructure and fund for whether it's a piece of machinery, whether it is for looking for that growth. So all areas of our business. We've got actually a forensic department as well. It was quite unique for a Lancashire firm of our size as well.
So tell me more about what you do with the forensic department. I've got an idea, but tell the listeners.
Majority is matrimonial. So if there is valuing businesses and valuing assets, so whether it's matrimonial, whether it's shareholders, whether it's fraudulent, it's the account side.
For whatever reason. So if a husband and wife split up and the husband says, I haven't got anything, and the wife says, you've got a multi-million-pound business there. And he says, "Oh, it's not worth anything." So you do the digging on behalf of the non-business owner, just to establish what the truth is.
Yes, and we might be appointed as what we call a joint expert as well, where we get asked a number of questions to comment on. So we might do that. And they're lucky or not so lucky to have court cases as well on times.
And do you actually work with the police in terms of forensic accounting for businesses as well?
They will do on occasions, If it's fraudulent, yes, they have been known to
so
visit prisons and
Wow.
Yes. I think when we get trainees, they hear forensic and their ears pop up and
And obviously not as an accountant yourself, but being involved in that sort of background, if you had some advice for smaller business owners, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employee businesses who aren't quite at that 5 million level yet, what would be the best advice you could give them in terms of maybe when they're looking for accountants and what the questions are they should be asking and what sort of things they should be demanding of their accountants?
I think it's how many touch points you have over the course of the year. I mentioned before, gone are the days where the once a year where you take your books and records in and you produce a set of accounts.
So it used to be a plastic bag full of receipts that you just give them.
That's the past, not your future. Let's look here and now. So you've got real-time information. So how was that produced for you? What reporting do you get out of that? And really looking at, are they aligning with your goals? That's okay with us as accountants advising, but if that doesn't fit with what the business owner's goals are, from business and from them personally, then it is not good anyway. Yeah. So it's really making sure that you're aligned, you've got that connection with your accountant, and they're using the right technology, providing the right reporting, and looking to meet your goals.
I think the other thing with that is watch out for trying to make false economies, because quite often as a micro SME, they will be looking at their costs really closely, and they'll maybe get 2 or 3 accountants and ask them for a price for doing their annual accounts and returns, etc., and they'll get a price. But in that price, they don't get anything else. And that's false economy, because you need at least quarterly management reports, if not monthly management reports, as you grow. And you need those touch points and that proactive support. But obviously there's an investment to be made for that. So be prepared to pay a little bit more for your accountant, because you will reap the rewards. You'll get a significant return on investment from that in terms of your knowledge and understanding and advice to enable you to move forward more effectively.
Yeah, definitely. That's a key consideration. Don't go for the cheapest, because you will get what it says on the tin. And try and build that picture up as well. If at the stage you're at, you just want purely that accounting and that reporting from your cloud team, but eventually this is where you're working towards, and you can build that up over a period of time. So it's having that clear and, again, honest conversation in terms of where you are now and where you want to be.
Yeah. When you look back to 13 years ago when you first arrived at Pierce as a payroll manager, did you ever envisage that you were going to be a director and a partner there?
No, I knew I had ambition. And I knew that it was never enough what I was doing. I always wanted more. So I knew I had that drive and ambition, but had no idea of where it would end.
Do you pinch yourself sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm proud of what I've done and what I've achieved over that years, and also with the team that have come alongside as well and grown and nourished in their ways as well. And the firm's hugely changed.
Yeah. Talking of change, what's next for Pierce, and have you got any further ambitions? Are you in your happy place now, do you think, or...?
I'm in my happy place, yes. I do. Even at the beginning of my journey when I started, I knew it was home. Yeah. And I still feel like that today, even for a period of change. Yeah. I don't stand still. It's probably a running joke that I'm 100 miles an hour. So it probably fits
just trying
me
to
really
pin you
well.
down to have you on a podcast is amazing for me.
Yeah, so I think definitely got my home. In future of Pace, it's further growth. Yeah. So we 18 months ago, we did have PE, we're PE backed.
Yeah, so private equity for people who don't know what PE is.
Yeah, so we did that, chose to make that decision 18 months ago. Yeah. We're still independent from an operational point of view. We have catch-ups with that team, but they really are, they let us get on with that journey, which is good. But we've got support now that we can grow further. Yeah. So it's 1 to organically growth, but 2 also to acquisition growth.
Further acquisition.
Yeah.
Without naming names, have you got targets on the horizon?
A couple.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. Now, with private equity, in most cases, PE companies want to get a return on their investment. And they want to get a return on their investment relatively quickly, sort of 3 to 5 years. They'll be looking at the buy-in, increase the value of their asset holding, and then they want to sell and realise their assets. Yes. So have you got some plans in terms of what's going to come further down the line? Because you're already, as you said, 18 months into that journey.
Yes, you can never say never, and you don't know the future of how it's going to hold. But currently how they support us is the Pierce brand. They recognised the reputation that we had, that brand awareness that we've got in the local area, and they're all about supporting that growth within our region, which is the North West. They have 2 other firms of accountants, one Southern and one Liverpool area, and the same ethos is that they're growing those brands. They don't want to make us nationwide. That's not what we want either, but they've really supported on the recruitment drive. We've recruited over 50 staff in the last 18 months, which has been some hefty growth. Yes. So we don't know how the future holds, but at the moment it is about growing us within that Northwest.
Yeah. Okay, and if there was one thing you could, because you have been involved in marketing, haven't you, in the past? You're not involved in marketing now.
I still oversee.
You still manage the marketing function as well.
Still oversee.
So have you got a marketing team as well underneath you as well now?
Yes.
You do a bit of everything, don't you?
Yes.
I bet the only thing you don't do is actually do people's accounts for them.
Yeah, no.
So if you had to describe Pierce as a company in a few words, in terms of when you're talking to business owners who are maybe thinking of looking for a new accountant, what would you say makes Pierce different to others, would you say?
I would still say operationally independent, because that, for me, gives us that flexibility and that response for clients. Forward-thinking, proactive, advisory is what I'd say. And family-friendly.
Yeah, family-friendly.
Yes. I once remember a client ringing me 15 minutes before he was due for a meeting and saying that he couldn't come in because he wasn't dressed for the occasion. He was dressed. But I thought that is awful that someone feels like they have to dress a certain way to go into business. That's where I'd say we've completely flipped now, in that we're open. We've got all kinds of trades that come in, professions that come in, different client bases. So definitely that family friendly as well. And it's maintaining that as we grow, because we will become more corporate. You can't do that growth without having that. But for me, it's having strong management in place that can really buy into our message and make sure that people feel part of our journey.
Really important. If you had to give your younger self some advice when you're starting out on your career, what kind of advice would you offer to younger people nowadays who are out there who are just starting out in their career? Sometimes they might not know exactly what it is that they want to do. They know they're ambitious, as you are, and they know that they want to build a career, but they're not quite sure what it is. If they're anything like me, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left school. Yeah. I went to college and they said, just do boys' subjects. So I ended up doing this engineering and science and various other things. Could have gone to university, but didn't in the end. I ended up just going and getting a job. And I fell into sales by accident, fell into a manager's role almost by accident, and just progressed from there through my career and ended up falling into business ownership almost by accident. What kind of advice would you offer to younger people or to your younger self now in terms of?
Probably to understand yourself as a person, how you learn, how you adapt in situations. I think that's key to do at an early stage, to really understand where you want to go. I think taking the best of people as well. So people that you meet along the way, taking the best bits and learning from that and developing. And I would always say probably be open-minded. You don't know what path you're going to go down, and suppose take the most of those opportunities. So I think the key takeaways, I think, from a younger me. Yeah. I once remember that one of the first interviews I had was for a top accountancy firm, a 3-stage interview. And one of those stages was psychometric testing. And the outcome of that was that I was stubborn.
Really?
I then had a follow-up interview and she pulled that out of my report. Yeah. Got to hear that you're stubborn, and my instant reaction at that age was, I'm not, which probably answered all the questions. Yeah, it's really interesting to definitely learn and understand yourselves and make the most of the opportunities.
Yeah. And on top of that, I would say whatever traits you have, there are no right and wrong. We do a lot of work with DISC and other assessment services. And I always say to people when they're doing a DISC profile, there are no right or wrong answers. There's no good or bad DISC. Some people are stubborn, and stubborn is a positive trait. Yeah. It's getting things done. Some people prefer to be slower paced and really in depth and looking at things. Some people prefer to be more flexible and listen to all sorts of different options before they make a decision. But everything is right. You just apply it in the best way that you can for the business. And you need lots of different types of people.
You do, yes.
And you need stubbornness to get things done sometimes, don't you?
Yes.
So I see it as a positive trait.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right. Everything you can take away from your weaknesses, you can turn them into positives as well and really drive with that. And I think that's part of understanding yourself and your traits and how you can adapt in different situations.
Yeah.
And there is no right and wrong. It's finding your fit and your home.
Yeah, definitely. If you had one piece of advice for business owners who are out there at the moment, because we're in uncertain times, obviously, with everything that's going on at the moment, what would be the best piece of advice that you could offer to other business owners who are out there at the moment?
I think listen to others around you and absorb all the knowledge that you can, really. And talk. I think sometimes it's quite a lonely place to be in. So I think it's having people that are a support framework. I think that's really key and important. The questions that are in your head as a person and a business owner are probably in other heads as well. It's just who's brave enough to say it and be out there. So get a trusted environment where you can have those open conversations and discussions.
Yeah, we have a community of our clients and prospects and other people. So we invite them. We have a WhatsApp community so people can talk on the WhatsApp community. We have regular get-togethers for all our clients so they can share. And you say a problem halved is a problem shared is a problem halved. Get that the right way around. But they all come up with new ideas as well. And you can get somebody in completely disparate sectors and they'll share a marketing idea in this sector that they got in another sector. They'll go, oh, blimey, that's a really great idea. We could do that in our sector. But they never think to talk to other people. So community is so important to me in particular. Just you mentioned learning and development and your own personal learning and thinking about how you grow. Are there particular books that you have read that you would recommend, or podcasts that you listen to, or people that you follow? What are the keys for you in terms of specific learning materials, if you will?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a very bad reader. So I think because I'm so busy, and when I've done professional qualifications in the past, I've then associated books with you qualifying and having to study. Just started to get back into that. So what I try to do now when I go on holiday is read a book. So my next book that I'm going to read is On Your Shelf, Atomic Habits.
I've been
recommended. I've been recommended that. And I noticed one that I have read that's really good is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That I really enjoyed that book and reading as well.
I recommend that book to every single person that I ever meet because it's one of the best, I think, self-development books, those habits in there. It was written years ago. Yeah. The other one for me is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, because that one it's all about mindset, really. I don't know, do you know, you heard of Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
So Napoleon Hill was a journalist, and he was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie, who was a Scottish industrialist who moved to America and made his millions, because Andrew Carnegie wanted to find out what it was that drives people and why some people are more successful than other people. So Napoleon Hill went out and interviewed loads and loads of different people, from beggars on the street to really successful millionaires, other industrialists, to try and figure out what it was that made people successful. And it wasn't through birth, right? Because there were some people who were born into money who were very poor and on the streets. It was purely through people's mindset. What you can think of, you can achieve, but you've got to have the drive and the motivation to do it. That's why the book title came out, Think and Grow Rich. And it's as relevant now as when it was written. It was written in the 1930s, which is incredible. Some of the language in it is a little bit dated, let's say, and biased towards men. But I would say it's really relevant now. There isn't actually a Think and Grow Rich for women, which has been written. And there's the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I've met a lady called Sharon Lecter, who's part of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, an American lady, and she's written some great books as well. And Think and Grow Rich for Women was a brilliant book that brought it more up to date in terms for people. But that's another one. There's so many great books you can see behind us.
Yeah.
So if you ever need a recommendation, let me know. And there's always Audible, of course. If you don't like reading, you can listen to them in the car when you're driving from place to place.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant. Anything else apart from books? Do you follow anybody? Do you get any specific?
Not particular, no. I tend to be focused on work, and then family. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Apart from obviously moving forward, you'll be listening to the Lancashire Business
I will,
Stories
indeed.
podcast. So how do people get in touch with Pierce or you if they want to get in touch?
So we're on the website. So we've got a website, pierce.co.uk. Our telephone number is on there as well.
Okay.
We've got a main office that's in Blackburn. We've got the Bolton office. And we've also got our newest Bury office as well.
Whereabouts in Bury are you?
Tottington.
Oh, in Tottington?
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Oh,
just
up
on the main
road.
street.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's beautiful.
And are you active on socials?
Yeah, so we've got all social medias, so Facebook, LinkedIn, X. I almost said Twitter.
It's
not Twitter.
Yeah. No,
I paused.
We're not on
Instagram.
X.
Although our Instagram is difficult because we share a lot of people on Instagram, but you can't really share accounts on Instagram. No. But you meet the staff that do the work as well.
I don't see many accountants on TikTok.
No. We should though. We actually.
It's different.
Yeah, very different.
You never know. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn,
are you active on LinkedIn?
I'm active on LinkedIn as well. So
we'll put all the links in the show notes. So we'll put a link to the website and to LinkedIn, to your profile on LinkedIn. So if people want to get in touch with you, they can do.
Fab.
All right. Lisa, it's been a real pleasure having you on the podcast. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
And look forward for much more to come from Pierce.
Thanks.